Okay, hello everybody. I am Conquering History Games, and welcome to live stream number 7 of my Suzerain campaign. Today we're going to maybe get out of Chapter 1. Who knows? Who truly can possibly know? Again, we're gonna let me actually get the soundtrack up and running here. OST, Suzerain OST. Wait, what's that? Ah. Check that out later. Everything is paid. Oh shoot, that's a little loud, isn't it? Okay, gosh, I've been saying that a lot the last couple days. Isn't it? Oi! It's really loud, isn't it? Okay, I don't think that that's too loud if I have it there. Please let me know if it is. So let's see, it's been like 3 days, I think, since we did Suzerain when I've been trying to do this every night, but, you know, issues pop up. What was the last thing that we were doing? Oh yeah, there's the little journal thing. Okay, we were on turn 2. We released a statement condemning Rumburg. Construction contract was awarded to Taurus Holding, and we ended up doing those stimulus checks. Right, because that was, I remember when we did the stimulus checks, I thought, oh, isn't that one of the things that we have to do to get one of the achievements? Like, I think there's 4 or 5 different things that we have to do in addition to the stimulus check, but, you know, it's something. Okay, so let's check the news. Welfare issue. Narbel, a city that was once an important trade stop for the Markian Empire. So this is in the, what region? The Nargis region. I don't even know what that means. Hold on. The Nargis region. Okay, it's over here. Oh, here we go. It's this little area. Huh. Okay. Has been in steep decline for the last decade. We have uncovered the hard truth from the residents themselves. A shepherd living near there did not wish to disclose his real name, made shocking remarks about the city's region's lack of healthcare services. He has waited almost 5 months just to get an appointment in the rural region. More people don't want to identify themselves. They have to use dangerous mountain paths to walk to their school, located 2 kilometers away, even in the harshest seasons. Alright, wasn't there also another thing? Murder was a method of the past. Okay, they're calling for peaceful protests. Okay, Friends Rector. We live in these borders together, therefore we all bear a responsibility, a duty to live together with our differences. The murder was a method of the past. We as citizens of this nation all bear responsibility beyond ideologues, partisanship, or any other identity. What sounds terrible, Tenbray? The drunk thing? Yeah. The radical. Farewell, Bernard Serkas. We already read that, I think. Okay, geopolitic. Rumburg closes call. Okay, so this is news. I guess it's just reviewing news from before to catch me back up with what's going on. Alright, let's just kind of peek in at some of this stuff. Situation on the border with Rumburg is getting tense. We kind of already knew that. Young Sword's youth wing leader dead after a terror attack. He claimed responsibility for an organized attack in the Bloodish Market. His base of operations was then raided. He was found dead with 2 bullet wounds to the back of the head. The scene was organized to make it look like a suicide. Is that a reference to that one dude who got assassinated by the CIA? Let's see. Oh, what sounds terrible? Oh, okay. Hey there, Roblox FPS, but what's this? I wasn't aware that you hated children enough to deprive them of quality roads so they can go to school without shredding their own feet. Hey, Tenbray, cut me some slack. We're still in Chapter 1 here, alright? There's a lot of problems in this country. This is the first I've heard of this, anyway. Let's see. Guns have been found. We already knew about that. Okay, so I get... Oh, wait, one more thing here. Young Sword members claim links to the government. He's been investigating the truth of his claims, but have not been able to find any leads. Okay. Gee, I wonder who he's connected to. Alright, briefing on the results from the Reform Committee. Right, I was wondering when the hell we were going to be doing this again, because remember, weren't we supposed to start our term off with, you know, reforming the Constitution? I remember that was a big deal. Let's see. I came a little early to the meeting room before anybody showed up. We had scheduled a meeting to discuss the progress of the Reform Committee regarding the new Constitution. I took a seat in the center chair in the vacant meeting room as I waited for them to show up. The reforms were slowly becoming the most significant expectation of my government. We would be changing Seoul's Constitution of 29. Most people nowadays blame the Constitution for the outstanding problems of the country. On the other hand, the reformists in the Assembly had been getting louder about their demands. How's that on the other hand? That's almost an agreement. Okay, what I knew for sure was that I needed to do something about this encroaching chaos before it swallowed me. Meanwhile, Lucien, Peter, and Nia had been leading the committee to prepare an initial draft for the constitutional amendments. I was intrigued to hear their results. There was a knock on the door. It was Lucien. Good afternoon, sir. Lucien arrived exactly on the hour mark again. His punctuality could almost be described as obsessive. What's this? Marco Polo incident. Too bad you're the leader of the country. Even if you've had nothing to do with the problem, it's still all your fault. Clearly, you're not aware of how politics work. Now give me a fat welfare check. And then Serge says in old man voice, "Back in my day, having only mere shredded feet was a sign that you were the son of a rich man." Have you guys ever heard of that skit called The Four Yorkshiremen? I think there's a few different versions of it, but it's basically the concept. It's four men sitting around and talking about, oh, you know, we're so happy how things are these days. Not like when we were kids. Oh, when we were kids, remember how hard it would be? And then they're all trying to one up each other with how horrible their childhoods were. Like, you know, oh yeah, I remember when I had to walk in the school in the rain. And then you know, then other ones are always going like, oh, you were lucky you got to go to school. My father would just rape us. It's just, oh my god, what? It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. There's a few different versions of it. But the part I really remember is just at one point he's like, you know, the whole family, there were 7 of us and we had to share 2 slices of bread. And the other one's just kind of like, oh, 2 slices, luxury. So I used to all the time, when somebody would complain about something bad, I would just go, oh, luxury. And then I usually had to explain what the hell I was referencing because that's not my normal accent. Lucien arrived exactly. Okay. You know, I'm gonna ask him, are you waiting behind the door to come at the exact second? I'm sorry, sir. You know, I'm fine with his punctuality. I don't care. You know, it's a good thing. Got it. We could use a little more punctuality in this frickin' town, meaning where I live. Forget it. How are you today? I'm good, Mr. President. Thanks for asking. He took a seat at the table and took out a bunch of documents, spreading them on the long table. We should begin the meeting as soon as Mrs. Morgna and Mr. Vice President arrive. We finally have some results from the committee meeting. I feel pretty good about Nia being on the committee. I think that's a good thing. Let's see. How does it look or what results? Well, I don't want to pressure him because it's like the others are about to start too. I'm going to say what results. What results? The Reform Committee already drafted the amendments for the new Constitution thanks to the help of the members. But the situation is still quite complicated politically. We'll go over the details in the meeting. Okay, everybody sat down. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of talk going about the future of this process. Let us begin to tackle the points of contention. Did he just say, let us begin? What are you, freaking Lyndon Johnson now? Let us begin. Let us continue. I guess this is what Peter sounds like. He's a little more verbose when he's sober. Alright. Nia. What voice did I go with Nia? Oh, whatever. Mr. President, our committee meetings were really fruitful, and we started working on the constitutional draft together with the reformists. They demanded a little too much, but I've had success with Franz Richter, remember this is the head of the opposition party, to create a realistic draft that could potentially go through the Supreme Court. Little, they demanded to rewrite the whole Constitution. The requirements were definitely not outrageous, just not realistic in today's circumstances, just because it wouldn't pass the Assembly. Nonetheless, I'm glad that we are reaching common ground already. J-Dog says, hello, I'm watching this while playing the Feng Tian Click. It's a terrific country. Flame Fang's a genius. Lucien Gray, if we can reach an agreement with the reformists, we will be very strong in the Assembly to propose the change. I'm going to ask about the Supreme Court, because I think we can swing the 2/3 majority. But the Supreme Court is what worries me. They're the biggest obstacle. Even if we pass the Assembly, the Chief Justice will do his best to block our amendments. We need at least 6 of the 11 judges to vote for the proposal. Mr. Hawker has an enormous influence over the justices. This is the chief. He's the one who's been around basically forever. 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 We should break... I'm sorry, who's Lilius again? Let me check the codex. Lilius. Oh, yeah. Staff Sergeant. Is she the one who's in charge of the interior? She's a minister in the Reign administration. Let me check something here. Country out overview. No. I need to go to political overview. Yeah, Minister of the Interior. Right, Lilius. Yeah, she's the one who... She seems to be coming from a good place, but she just doesn't get it. So... Yeah, we don't want her to be touching the Constitution. She's Thatcher. You guys say every woman in this game is Thatcher. There's like 3 Thatchers, 4 Thatchers that you guys see. It's like, oh, she's a woman and she's slightly conservative. Clearly Thatcher. Like, there's other women who've been in politics ever, you know. Jesus, people. Get off the guy. Y'all got Thatcher on the brain. Did she snatch your milk too? All right. We should reach out to the judges in secret. Some of them might be willing to break rank to support us. Is there any law that says we can't talk to the judges? I think all means are to be considered in order to succeed. Yeah, let's do that, Peter. It's the first good idea you've had. Nia was taken aback by the statement. According to the Constitution, I am a member of the Supreme Court, which means we already have 1 vote. Really? Because she's the Minister of Justice? Fascinating. Yeah, but your wife is Thatcher. Yeah. So here's... Okay, let's add up everybody who we've heard is Thatcher so far. And I know that it's not a single person who's doing it, but it's like, yeah, like I said, y'all got Thatcher on the brain. I've heard Lilius referred to as Thatcher. I've also heard... let's go to the Codex. Who else have y'all called Thatcher? No, that's the cabinet. Actually, this might be the better word. Yeah, y'all called her Thatcher. You've called Gloria Tory Thatcher. There was somebody else. Oh, hey, this is the breakdown here. So we have 3 reformists. Notable justices of the court. Minister of Justice a lot. Yeah, so that's fascinating. It looks like they're mostly old guard. So we'd have to win the centrist over. Yeah, there you go, Ten Prey. We all know that Yosef is Thatcher. Looks the most like her, you know, obviously. What political path am I going? The ones that the people vote on. But we're going, it looks like we're going reformist Democrat. Reformist free market Democrat. That's what the voting has been going for. So we're not going to go like extreme nationalist, extreme communist, extreme capitalism. We'll kind of see what happens as we go. I'll definitely do something that's far right or far left in a future pre-recorded series, just for fun. See how far I get before I'm killed. 2 of the judges are friends of mine and of similar opinion about the reforms. Consider them with me. Okay, I'm sure the rest can be bribed. No! We're not doing that. Who else would be willing to support the reforms? I think Judge Emmons could be persuaded, and an extension Mr. Dalton and Mr. Merton. They weren't really blinded by the soulist ideology. Yeah, those 3 don't seem to be working directly with the Chief Justice Hawker. If we can get to Isabel Edmonds, we might get the 6 votes we need. That's our best bet. Okay, so is Isabel Edmonds, a.k.a. Thatcher, We have a Sortis Juris. She's the youngest person on the court, first woman to serve in the Supreme Court. But didn't Nia just say she's a member of the Supreme Court, technically? Whatever. I'm sure that's just like a little oversight. It is a fresh game, you know, there might be little mistakes here and there. The game's only like 3 months old. Okay. She's been a supervisory judge. She was the first woman to hold the position appointed by Alfonso. Regarded to be a firm believer in democracy and secularism, has spoken out against the oppression of the soulless state apparatus numerous times, known to hold anti-communist and socially conservative views. Socially conservative! Confirmed for Thatcher! Okay, so can we get a 2/3 majority in the assembly? Oh, you're right. The first woman, you're right. I need to learn to read, Tenbray. If you can get Franz Richter to work with you on this, our only problem will be uniting our own party. We'll never be able to get the NFP to work with us. Yeah, so this is the ones who are under Casaro. You know, if anybody got that reference, you're awesome. Let's see. Oh, we need the majority of our 130 seats in the Assembly to vote in favor. With PFJP, this is the opposition party, full support of 70 votes, we will easily surpass the needed 160. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. But it will be tough to unite the USP with all the divisive wings that have formed. You must make them follow you loyally. We did it before for the elections, we could do it again. Okay, Albin Clavin and his reformist wing would be supporting you. Okay, so this is clearly, I could already tell just from looking at him, he's meant to be a male representation of Thatcher. You know, so let's read about this this male Thatcher. Okay, he rose during the Alfonso administration, instrumental in passing free market reforms. He's the face of a new generation of USP. He nominated himself as the next candidate, but didn't get much support, so which led to me being candidate. So this guy, he's only been a member of the assembly for like 4 years, and he tried to be president. Wow, dude, you tried to rise to the top a little too fast. But we'll work with him. The conservatives will be tough to break. The influence of Sol is still living strong in the party. How many votes do they have? Yeah, I know that other guy was like a reformist and a man, but definitely meant to be Thatcher. The Conservatives have around 40 seats. There are many unaligned people, and some of your loyalists might decide to show their true faces too. We need as many of the Conservatives to support us, and there's only one person who's key to make them back us. That's going to be Tory. But hold on a sec. How many is their total? So we got 130 seats in the election. So minus that to 90 if we lose all the Conservatives. But then plus 70. Damn, that gets us a little bit short of the needed 166. So yeah, we're going to need at least a little bit of conservative help. Crap. Ah, what's happening here? Gloria Tory. So this was the first one that y'all were saying was Thatcher, and this is the one who actually... Wait, is this the one who actually seems like Thatcher to me? Yeah, this is the one who actually is Thatcher, from what I was reading. And, like, her last name's Tory, for fuck's sake. This is actual Thatcher, okay? So, I have reason to think she might be in Orso's pocket. She will be tough to break, but we need her help to get the conservative support. What are the demands? We should run down each of the main demands of the committee and get your input first. Mrs. Morgna can explain them further. Oops. We'll start with the first red line. The new constitution will fix the loopholes regarding the president's absolute veto powers. Even though Mr. Richter put on a whole show about why vetoes should completely be removed, the committee has almost unanimously agreed on fixing the loopholes, thus limiting president vetoes. They want to get rid of the veto completely? My suggestion is to add a clause detailing the methods the Assembly may override a veto with some sort of supermajority. One person should never be able to block the rest. We can't remove the vetoes entirely. There's no way that'll fly. The Conservatives will hate it. They will not be allowed to dictate the negotiations. Which they are they talking about? The Reformists? The Conservatives? That's too vague. Yeah, I know the UFJP is going to vote with us, unless we went really conservative. I'm basically considering those 70 votes to be with us already. Unless this guy just wanted to, you know, it's like he's playing those kind of games where it's just, oh, you know, even though I'm giving in to everything you want, I'm going to vote against you because you're the other party. If he plays those games, then we're just screwed anyway. Let's just go with the loopholes, give the president too much power. Whatever you decide, it's important to get a balanced picture. We'll be making history by changing the 29 Constitution of Seoul. The second one's about the judiciary. The new constitution will remove the Supreme Court's right to vote on legislation. This is yet another point that was unanimously agreed on by all parties. Tarquin Seoul established this rule to protect his 29 constitution. We all know most of the judges are still his pawns. Constitutional amendments will still be very difficult to accomplish with a reform like this, particularly because we'll need to keep the 2/3 vote system to be able to propose a change. However, the judiciary will not have the final say in the amendments. We could say this is already what we want to do. I can't disagree with that. We need the courts to even pass this change. Why would they support this? That's what I... Hold on, I think someone's knocking on my door. Be right back. Yeah, I just think I'm hearing things again. Okay. Alright. Texas Secret Police. Let's see here. So we can say this is already what we wanted to do. I can't disagree with that. We need the court to even pass this change. Why would they support this? And what good does that do us? Yeah, that's a good point. We're asking the court to strip their own power. Because the court, after we get it to the assembly, the court has to look at it. So, yeah, why would they support this? Most of them won't, but we already talked about my vote and a possible agreement with Isabel, which may change things. Apart from these two critical points, they have other major demands. They want to reform the appointment procedures of the ministers. Mr. Richter clarified that the Assembly should have a say in the formation of the Council of Ministers. So was this some, like, confirmation hearings? That's something that a majority in our party also supports. Well, Mr. Richter also talked about abolishing the member of honor rights of Tarquin Seoul that gives him absolute immunity and makes him a permanent member of the Assembly. Well, that one is a controversial one. I doubt that USP would like that. Oh yeah, this is like what Putin did. Immunity of the justices, the impeachment of the president, limiting the power of presidential decrees, all of this came up during the committee meetings. Yes, reformists expect big reforms while our faction in the USP are not very keen on pushing changes that are too great. I'd say keeping everything in the middle ground is the safest bet. No need to agitate anyone too much. We can say I disagree, we'll push for comprehensive reforms. We could say I agree, let's keep the changes small and manageable, or they have valid concerns that we need to look at. I'm sure nothing we're saying here is too binding, but we're just going to say there's valid concerns. We need to look at them. I'll keep working with them and keep you updated, Mr. President. Well, regardless of what Mr. Rain decides, we need to work together to push this agenda. Man, what are we going to do here? Maybe we could... We need to work together to push through agenda. Now we have a better picture of your intentions, sir. I will start reaching out to my contacts to make a draft that works for us. I'll present your input to the committee. In a few months, you would have the draft on your desk to make the final changes yourself. Yeah, I think this was another fruitful meeting, sir. This is a pickle. A pickle, a pickle, a pickle. Okay. What we could do... That Tarquin thing is going to be a problem. You know, kicking him out of the assembly. I'm sure there's a lot of conservatives who worship the ground the guy walks on. And what am I going to tell them? It's like, I just want him to be able to be prosecuted for crimes. I'm not saying I'm going to prosecute him. Maybe he didn't even do anything. You know, it's difficult. It's going to be difficult. All right. All right, well, let's, oh my gosh, wait. Oh, we got problems. I lost the stream. Uh-oh. Ah! Okay, we're back. Okay, let's see. Together, we will democratize Swordland. And you have my full support, Mr. President. Ours too, of course. Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. I think this is where we'll call it, sir. Have a good day. They left the room. Saving! Alright, that's the end of the stream, everybody. I'm kidding. Yeah. Going after the father of the Republic is going to be a problem. But the thing is, we're not... I don't know. Yeah, it'd be like denouncing Washington. It would be difficult. On the other hand, wouldn't it be pretty awesome if I could pull it off, guys? Like, promising industrial potential, because the railway project. Okay, yeah. What's next? The report from Wholesword. The construction plans by Taurus have started. Construction will be starting in the next months from Wholesword. Okay, Taurus, don't fuck this up. Meeting with Chief Justice Orso Hawker. The administration have been working day and night on the overwhelming amount of issues that we're facing the country. There's an achievement for it? For what? What, for managing to strip Soul of his what did they call it? His immunity. Like, basically, if I strip Soul of his immunity, do I win an achievement for that? The departments sent several documents which required my signature so they could start working on the new decisions that were taken. After I signed dozens of them, I closed my eyes to relax for a moment. Another long day. Me when Soul is prosecuted. That's a lot of emojis, and each one is more confusing than the last. Oh, you have to strip him and prosecute him. Well, I don't know if we'll do that. Well, let's see what happens. If there's other things on our mind at the time. Even though I really wish to leave the palace for the day, Lucian had earlier told me the Chief Justice wanted to speak to me. We planned to meet in my office in 30 minutes. I waited for him, wondering what subject he would raise. Do we want to pour whiskey? Let's have you guys vote on that. Let's see. Creating the poll, and it is in the chat. Polls are open. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get some of my own whiskey in case you decide to have us pour it. So I will be this. Yeah. All right, I'll be back. I'll be back soon. And I'm back. I actually almost don't have any whiskey. Let's see, it's like demonizing Sun Yat-sen or denouncing Bismarck. It sounds like you guys are challenging me now. Alright, let's look at the results. I'm trying to look at the results. Have y'all not been able to vote? Because I'm not seeing results. Is there something wrong with the poll? Has nobody voted? Dang it. Some people tried voting, but it's not. Is it not working? Huh. I'm not seeing results, guys. Well, that's gonna be a problem later. Yeah, it's just saying 0 for me. Okay, screw it. We're gonna pour a whiskey, and I will as well, because it's been a long day. I've done a lot of good stuff. I'm pretty happy. I actually only have. I was like, I went to where I keep my liquor, and I was actually surprised because I don't have whiskey except for this one that I got for Christmas. This is some. Do I want to say what it is? Yeah, sure. So this is some Glenlivet 12. We're gonna be pouring. All right, here we go. Okay, some Glenlivet 12-year-olds. This thing is probably going to last me a year or more. There's certain liquors I don't touch except for like certain moments. But anyway, cheers, everybody. So here's a little tip for anybody if you want to like appreciate your whiskey or liquor or whatever. Good rule of thumb is whenever you're drinking something that's aged, keep it in your mouth for at least 1 second for every year it was in a barrel. So like what I'm drinking is a 12-year-old whiskey, so I keep it in my mouth for at least 12 seconds. You know, let those flavors develop. Let it bloom on your taste buds. Anyway, let's get moving here. I eased my mind a little. Suddenly I heard a knock on the door. It was Lucien. Good evening, sir. It's just the two of us. Raise your drink. Sure. I raised the glass of whiskey and gestured at Lucien. He sat on a chair near my desk. I'm good, sir, but good to see you enjoying yourself. I'm sorry I couldn't explain the situation to you in detail earlier. The Chief Justice insisted on seeing you this evening. I do not know what he has to say, but it'll probably be about the new Constitution. He'll be coming shortly with Judge Mr. Garci to the meeting. This guy also looks freaking old. They might as well be the same person. We shouldn't take them lightly. Okay, so he used to be the Minister of Justice and Law. He did a military career. He was a lieutenant. He was married to the sister of General Luderin. So this was the right-wing general, right? The Supreme Court ruled for his execution. Obstructing democracy. Oh, so this was the original guy who did the coup of the First Republic. Okay. Found guilty of crimes against the Swedish state, executed in 1929. So this was this General Luderin, who there's no portrait for, but General Luderin, I guess there doesn't need to be one because he's dead. I think he was the right-wing one, and then Rickard was the left-wing one. Killed in action. Let's see. He stayed out of conflict until the execution of hundreds of communists and left-wing activists by the order of General Luderin in 1928, which triggered the Swedish Civil War. Supported the Red Youth. Yeah. Okay. I'm tracking. So this guy was married to the right-wing general. But the investigation... Not married to the general. Married to the sister of the general. Okay. Strong supporter of Seoul. Previously was the Speaker of the Assembly and advisor. Edward tried to isolate him within the party, but in the same year he was appointed as Justice of the Supreme Court. He's famous for being an obstructionist. So I don't think this guy's going to work with us at all. I'm going to say, regardless of what they say, I will continue with the new Constitution. Oh, right, yeah, the polls open thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just need to stop using that freaking thing. Because I always forget about it. Excuse me, goodness. Yeah, I will continue with the new Constitution. Of course, let's stand our ground and not let them antagonize us, sir. We should... There were 3 knocks at the door. Lucian checked his watch. He looked rather worried. Livia opened the doors. Chief Justice Orso Hawker and Judge Heron Garci came and entered the room. Yeah, they might as... like, they look so similar, you know.
Good evening, Mr. President. It's great to see you.
Evening. Welcome, Justice Garaci and Chief Justice Hawker. I don't know how this is pronounced. Sorry. Good to see you indeed. Orso gestured at the sofa in the office.
May I?
Yeah. Let's have a seat, gentlemen. See, that's it. Story, never mind. We all took our seats on 2 comfortable. Orso glanced at the glass of whiskey.
Celebrating something, Mr. President?
Let's see. Would you also like to have a drink? I don't think that's relevant to our meeting, Mr. Hawker. Ooh, just get, like, terse with him? Or can we get to the point, Mr. Hawker? The twin clone senior citizen's the scariest thing. Let's be polite for now. Let's let him, if he wants to snipe, he can start the sniping. We're going to say, would you also like to have a drink?
No, thank you.
Me neither, thank you. Okay.
I like to stay as conscious and focused as I can.
Oh, fuck you, bro. I haven't even drunk it yet, bro.
How are your first couple of months, Mr. President? I hope you're faring well.
Thank you. It's very busy, but I'm doing good. We're just making pleasantries.
We'll only get busier, yet I think you're doing a good job so far. Considering all that's happening around us, with the shootings near the palace and the soldiers on our borders.
He let out a deep sigh. It's a troubling time. We appreciate your concerns.
So, you probably know why we are here.
You're here to bribe me? What the heck? Please enlighten us, Mr. Hawker.
We know you're working on a new constitution. The Supreme Court does not approve of this.
With all due respect, the Constitution needs to be updated, sir. I am sure you are well aware of the public demand in our circumstances.
Is that so? I see that you're the one who is not aware of our actual circumstances. You want to make a weaker constitution in the midst of problems from both inside and outside. Even if your proposal passes the Assembly, I will make sure it does not pass the Supreme Court. That much is clear.
Okay. Okay. God Gosh, I'm really trying to think what the fuck we're gonna do about this. This is gonna be hard. Okay. Alright. Even if your proposal passes the Assembly, I'll make sure it does not pass the Supreme Court. That much is clear. It's only him and one other justice you have wiggle room. I think it's safe to say that these two dudes, no matter what I do, unless I decide to, it's like, no, not only are we going to keep the presidential veto, nothing's going to be able to override it. It's going to be pretty based, actually. Then they'll, agree with me. But short of that, I think any reform at all, these two are definitely not going to vote for it. So we should just consider these two as dead votes. Anyway, we're gonna say you haven't even seen the proposal yet, Mr. Hawker. Isn't it too soon to be against it?
Do you think I live under a rock, Mr. President? I know what goes on. I know what's popping in the streets.
Yet you, Mr. President, seem to be the only... you, Mr. President, seem to be only partially informed about the current situation. Please let us explain the reasons of our stance. Oh, please explain then. Let him chatter. Words are wind. We are protecting the Constitution because it works, Mr. President. It is efficient and it gives you the authority to lead the nation with swift decisions. Swordland has more important problems and threats that we should face right now instead of nitpicking about some paragraphs of the Constitution. We have a potential war within our borders. Or so signaled Heron with his hand to let him speak instead.
Mr. President, I know that you are a busy man, so I'll make this quick. We all know that Swordlish security forces found stashes of Rumburgian weaponry in the hideouts of Bloodish separatists. KA-74s are roaming inside Swordland at this moment. As much as Rumburg poses a direct threat, now it's clear that they are also intervening in our country and weaponizing our minorities against us. It's not unprecedented to think that the Bloods will start their terror again with their new toys.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but haven't the Bloods not done a terror attack since, like, the 40s? They stopped, right? It's probably because we've been reforming more. You're telling me the guy with the name Hawk in his name is into war? Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Just swirling.
Okay. No, I know that, I know that Rumburg's a threat. I'm just saying the blood thing might be overblown.
Not to mention the fights that broke out between the left and right wing after the shooting of Bernard Circus. Communists are rising with the support of United Contana. The chaos is imminent for Swordland. Alright. And sadly, we don't see the administration taking the necessary precautions. You said that you will not focus on military during your term. Under certain circumstances, that cannot be tolerated at any cost.
I really gotta, like, zone in on the voice for this guy. I don't know. Let's see. We say the court has no jurisdiction over these matters. We are taking the necessary steps. No need to worry. I did promise, but the circumstances have changed. Or tolerate. You should be more careful with your words. We're gonna say... Okay, we're gonna still try to be polite. We are taking the necessary steps. No need to worry.
We hope that our police forces and our military is adequately funded during these times of conflict. But regardless of that, are you aware that the armed bloodish
I think I like this voice for him, yeah.
that armed bloodish separatists have direct connections with the Workers' Party of Bloodia?
Let's see here. The party's places a participatory democracy. Yeah, I think these are just claims. It's not been proven. It's been denied. And the guy who runs the party is an independent. And they're not even actually pro-bloodish only. They're like, want freedom for everybody. Yeah. Workers' Party is a democratic party. Unlike the militias, they are not the same. It's like people who wanted to say that Sinn Féin in Ireland was a terrorist organization. Workers' Party is a democratic party. It's not like it's frickin' Hezbollah.
They may claim they have no ties with the separatists, but most of their members used to be part of them before they formed the Workers' Party of Bloodia.
What about the name, Mr. President? Is it not the Workers' Party of Swordland? Is it? As far as I'm aware, there's no nation called Bloodia around here. What's all this about?
The only reason they're not in the assembly is because of the electoral threshold. They've gotten quite big. They're clearly getting outside help, and the connections to the paramilitary bloodish force cannot be denied. All of a sudden, the reformists are trying to decrease the electoral threshold so that the bloodish separatists can be legitimized in the assembly to achieve their aims of independence.
So now he's saying the reformists want to break up the country? I'm gonna say that's true dramatic. Yeah, because the bloodish people, they've been wanting to fix, yeah, whatever. These are like those old freaking German judges in the Weimar Republic who were letting Nazis and other extremists get off light for committing treason because just, oh, those crazy kids. Now the commies, that's the real threat.
Say what you will, Mr. President, I'm stating the obvious.
So,
I only wish the issues were the bloodish terrorists in Rumburg.
Reformist suggested changes would also bring the communists who are backed by United Contana into the assembly. Do you see the Hold on a second. Wait a minute. I'm definitely hearing some movement outside. Hold on. I'm back. I was just making sure everything was locked. You never know in this neighborhood. They let people like me live here. So, reformists suggested changes would also bring the communists who are backed by United Contana into the assembly. Do you see the pattern yet? Come on. These guys are ridiculous. So the reformists want communism. Okay. We're gonna say you're saying the reformists are working for the foreign powers. I kind of want to say that in a tone of like, is that what you're saying, you crazy old man? But I feel like because there's no tone, it's just letters, that it could come off as me saying, you're saying the reformists are working for the foreign powers? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. We're going to say, I apologize, gentlemen, but I am not a conspiracy theorist. This is not a conspiracy theory. Haven't you been briefed by your security team? Maybe you should suspect them as well. Seriously, dude? This guy just said I need to be careful about my Secret Service.
We should take the necessary measures against communist and bloodish plots, as well as increasing our military budget against a possible conflict with Rumberg.
I'm sorry, who the fuck is president here? And of course not fall into the traps of the reformists by listening to their demands. They're clearly plotting to weaken the president and our whole administration in order to exploit the situation.
Which brings us to some very important information that we have. It's definitely something you need to hear. It could change absolutely everything.
Oh, really? Any predictions on what he's going to say?
I heard that...
Okay, I'm trying to think of something ridiculous. See, I'm not into conspiracy theories. I don't know something silly. It's like, I heard that the communists want to take away Sol's immunity and hang him because they hate our freedom. They do it because they hate our culture. Mm-hmm. Okay. With all due respect, Mr. President, I think this is getting slightly ridiculous. See, Lucian's got a good head on his shoulder. God, I want to hear what silly bullshit he's gonna say. The Bloods have the secret Krabby Patty formula. We have to get it from them, Mr. President. Okay, what's this? Let's see. I'm betting the Bloodish are about to declare independence. The Bloodish are here! They're in this room, Mr. President! And they pull out a gun and shoot Lucian in the face. Now we can speak freely, Mr. President. Let's see here. Let him talk, Lucian. Yeah, it's like, let him talk. Let him do it. You know, the whole let him talk. I remember there was this time, quick side story. The whole, sometimes you need to let people talk so that other people can realize how stupid they are. I went to, actually, funnily enough, it was on a Valentine's Day. And, the person I was with at the time, we had our Valentine's Day. And, but we were going to do something, but it started raining that night, you know, so we kind of last minute changed the ending of our day, and we decided, you know what, how about we'll just do that thing tomorrow, and let's go to the movies tonight. So we go to the movies, which was like just up the street from where I was living, and so you know, I didn't have to worry about driving in the rain too much. We go to the movies, and sitting behind us were these two women who were there with like a kid, and the women were completely fucking hammered and just being so obnoxious for the entire movie. And eventually I went outside. I've never done this before, but I went outside to like find a security guard, and it's like these people are completely fucking out of control. And they eventually the security guard came by and got him to settle down a little bit, but not really. And so then we were leaving, and the two women, and I felt so bad because I guess the girl, I guess she must have been one of them's daughters or something. She was just so mortified to be with them, clearly, but like they just started screaming at everybody because I guess I wasn't the only one who left to say, hey, there's these people in the theater who are being incredibly loud and obnoxious. And so shift enter. Anyway, what? Shift enter on YouTube chat? I don't know what you mean. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Okay, anyway. So, So anyway, they start yelling at everybody else, all the rest of us in the movies that were coming out, and then they zone in on me and my girlfriend at the time, and then like a couple people came over, including the manager, and they're saying, "Hey, these people were ruining our movie." Like these wasted women were saying they were ruining the experience for us, you know, when they and so then my girlfriend says, like, "What? They were..." And then I just, like, put my hand up, and I don't want to say, like, I'm not that kind of guy who it's like, you know, I'm not cracking the whip on a girlfriend in public, but I just put my hand up, and I was like, "No, shh, 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 shh." It's like, no, let them go. And these two women just go on this drunken rant. They're just going on and on and on at the two of us, and we just stayed solely silent, and then they just kind of walked away. And then the manager turns to the two of us and went, "Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Let me get you some free movie tickets." And so then he walks away and he comes back and he gives us each a couple of free movie passes. It's just like, just let him do it. Let him go. Felt really bad for the girl with him though. CHG is a Karen confirmed. It was horrible. So let's see here. Of course, sir. So the person in question is Mr. Franz Richter himself, the leader of the reformists. Oh boy, here we go. We have enough information to infer that he has ties with Arcasia. What? Isn't Arcasia the capitalist country? Well, I guess there's no reason why they can't hate both of the major superpowers, but... Arcasia is aggressively growing their influence around the world, and now we have Mr. Richter coming up with these ridiculous demands for a new constitution amidst a chaotic period in Swordland. All the pieces seem to fit perfectly. That is why the Supreme Court will be doing what it takes to stop these reforms and preserve the Constitution. What pieces? You just said he has ties and you didn't even explain the ties. Oh, man. What swastika? There's no swastika. That's a compass. So everything's straight. The inside's through, too. Yeah, thank you, Lucian. Good chief of staff, this Lucian guy. That's how it should be. You know, when the president thinks, the chief of staff needs to say. That's how it should work. Led by President Dwight Walker. He's regarded as one of the most popular presidents who ever came to be elected. Arcasia is doing better than ever. The concept of the Arcasian dream emerged during his term. Anyway, how would you know that Mr. Richter has ties to Arcasia? Mr. Galad, we all know he has been in Arcasia many times because it's been documented. But what would you think if he's been making hidden flights to the country? What? God, these fucking old men, they aren't gonna work with us. Screw them. Another conspiracy theory. Believe what you will, Mr. President, but at least hear me out. He has been spotted in a hotel in Arcasia last year, where they held the Conference on Economic Development in Volatile Regions. Right around that time, he started to influence the masses into believing that our Constitution is the reason for everything bad. His trip was not documented, nor was he an official guest of the conference. We believe he had a meeting with President Walker behind closed doors. I also have a couple more photos of him. Are you like hiring an investigator to follow this guy? Don't you have like court shit to be doing? That were taken in Arcasia and different cities. One is from a couple months back. Again, none of it's documented. He also attended another event in Lesbia last week. The Arcasian Minister of Foreign Affairs was there too. I mean, how did you find out about that? Or no, how can any of these be undocumented? We don't know. Even if he used a private plane, we would be able to get the information of his flights. That means he has people helping them from inside. Many Solus were already following his leads for quite some time, Mr. President. I cannot give away their identities, but I can give you the evidence. What? Alright, dude. Okay. Alright. Yeah.
Sure, like, I can't say who, but I've heard, you know, it's these things, I just find it very interesting that, a guy says he's for reform in Arcadia, I don't know, oh, where am I? Oh.
Official documents from the border guard with highlighted dates that show no trace of Franz Richter name. There were clear photos of him that were taken in the conference in Arcadia, who claimed to have seen him with Arcadian businessmen around the same dates. There was also an official transcript of one of these speeches where he claimed to be in Benfey on the dates of the conference in Arcadia where he was spotted. Are these pictures time-stamped? The pictures could have been taken at any time, and then he's just showing them to me and say, oh, this happened on this day. What? Lucian skimmed through the documents with skepticism, which slowly turned into surprise. These seem to be real.
Of course they're real, Mr. Gallade. These seem to suggest that Arcadia is behind the reformists. Their demands will only benefit Arcadia. They want us to have a weaker administration while we face all these threats.
Okay. Let's pretend for a second this is real. Don't we want a reformed, like Arcadia shouldn't be meddling in us, but don't we want the reform anyway? Like if now if Richter comes up and says, oh, I wanted to put in the Constitution something where Arcadia doesn't, like, they get a good tariff deal on us or something, that would be one thing. But otherwise, like, aren't we trying to go reform-minded free market democracy? Now, we're not going to align with Arcadia, but as long as we're not aligning with Arcadia, I don't see the problem with it.
This is clearly a plot against Swordland. I bet Roomberg is part of their...
Okay, dude, Roomberg? Seriously?
I bet Roomberg is part of their plan, too. This cannot be a coincidence that they're weaponizing our minorities against us around the same time.
Yeah, exactly, Tenbray. As long as it's not like we're making ourselves subservient to Arcadia. We're just getting more reformed, which is something they want anyway. It's like, if you want what I want, that's great. If I'm doing something you don't like, though, Arcadia, well, then fuck off. We're doing it anyway. As long as they're not interfering, and if they're not trying to stop me, whatever.
Now you understand the reasons for our current stance and also our suspicions about your advisors who clearly have not given you this vital information.
Yeah, why do you have it, bro? Why does the Supreme Court Justice have this so-called evidence and nobody else? Who are you working with? Who are your sources? Yeah, exactly. Weren't Rumberg and Arcadia competitors? Exactly. But no, everybody's against us. They're all working together. Don't you get it? The communists, the capitalists, and Rumberg are all in a triumvirate trying to bring us down all at the same time. It's obvious, guys. Weren't you paying attention?
There's not much to think or check. This is clearly an emergency. In such cases, the Constitution gives the President the right to use his emergency powers. If we work together, you can be sure the Supreme Court will not block your declaration of emergency.
I haven't said I'm going to declare emergency, bro! What the fuck? This guy. You want me to declare an emergency? Yeah, he was. Let's talk about how we can work together. Screw this. It's not happening. We are not getting shit from this guy. Okay. This is just crazy. You want me to... I'm just asking questions now because I want to see how nuts he's going to get. You want me to declare an emergency?
Of course! We cannot wait for the processes of the Assembly to take care of these issues. You must exercise your presidential powers for a fast and effective solution. Which means you might need to suspend parts of the...
Oh my god. So he is now... Oh shit, did we lose the stream? Did we lose the stream? Let me make sure. Are we good? Or are we alright? I think that might just sometimes be YouTube kind of refreshing stuff when we're not actually losing it. I'm asking the chat though if anyone lost the stream. Because even if the feed cuts out, the chat should be there. Okay, we're good? Okay. So it's just YouTube refreshing. So he's now not only saying, you can't reform the Constitution, actually you need to suspend parts of the Constitution. Crazy. Craziness. I'm just waiting for this conversation to end with like, okay, I'll do everything you want, Hawker. And he goes, I can't believe you're listening to me. You're the president. You're your own man. Now I demand that you arrest me for questioning your decisions. Okay, we want to investigate the opposition. Holy crap. You can devise a strong security decree if you base it on the Articles 57 and 58, which give the president the right to suspend parts of the Constitution to deal with national security threats. Then you need to get rid of the Supreme Court. Spank me, Daddy, spank me! You can directly bypass the Assembly in such a situation. The only thing you need is the Supreme Court to allow the emergency to be declared. And you have our word on that. Sir, I think that is going a bit too far. We shouldn't escalate things just so fast.
Mr. President, why don't we talk in private? Only the two of us, let's get the communist chief out of here.
God damn, this is crazy.
We can devise a plan together. I know how we could use the Constitution to our advantage. It would be more effective if Mr. Glade and Mr. Garci leave the room before we discuss it.
This guy is nuts. Like, I was expecting, okay, old man, conservative, maybe a bit of authoritarian leaning, but he likes being a judge, he likes ruling on legislation, but he wants me to suspend the Constitution. Now he wants to talk to me one-on-one. Absolutely not. Sir, I advise against it. Okay, absolutely not, we're not doing one. I'm sorry to say that we won't be cooperating, Mr. Hawker. All of these are very polite things to say. Like, there really needs to be something where I say, Hawker, if I ever, like, seriously, it's like, he is trying to control the government from the executive within. It's like he wants to be the vice president or something. He wants to be the power behind the throne. It's like, I'm just gonna rubber stamp all your shit. Unbelievable. I want something here where I can say, like, you better hope I don't find a way to impeach your ass, Mr. Hawker. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that we won't be cooperating, Mr. Hawker. We're gonna stay polite. Kill him with kindness.
Even though you are aware of our national security threats.
You're making a big mistake, Mr. President. We will not allow you to succeed. You are the ones who are making the mistake.
We'll see, Mr. President. We'll see. I'll have Soul on the phone. He'll be back in the palace by Saturday night.
Have a good evening. They both left the room. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good. They clearly tried to threaten you. I'm gonna say I'm not scared of them. Yeah, I'm not scared of them. Fuck those bitches. They're little bitches. They ain't gonna do nothing. Hey, yo, I'm gonna tell them, hey, Hawk, I'm gonna say, hey, Hawker, you know what? How about the person who's young enough so that his dick still works gets to make policy? How about that? We're gonna put that in the Constitution. You must be this erect to be in the Supreme Court. And tell your mom to quit calling me. You just start getting really immature and weird about it. Orso will be doing whatever it takes to damage you. We need to be careful. There are still many old guard sympathizers in our party. We can't let them divide our party. And he will definitely try. After a short evaluation of the situation in our hands, Lucien left me in the presidential office. It was obvious the old guards would be my main rivals in the near future. Saving the game again. Okay, next save game, we're gonna call it a day. Wait, what's this continue? Oh, next turn. Or wait, what's the news? What's the news today? Just saying Hawker's there. CHG making a male-only government sounds radical. Well, the clitoris can get this is not a productive area of discussion. Let's just continue the next turn. Trials of democracy. Let's see here. Okay. What's this? The whole suspend the Constitution, declare where help would really help you impeach him. Yeah, but we didn't have a recorder, unfortunately. So, turn the page. What's the news today? School poisoning? They've arrested the principal where 12 students died after eating a free meal laced with pesticide. What? The students aged between 15 and 17 died after eating a bunch of local dish of zabla cooked at the school in a poverty-stricken city. Police... Oh. Okay. Oh, there. How did the pesticide end up in the food? Okay, where's Rybel? It's a bloodish... Oh, my God. Somebody's gonna kill the kids because they were bloodish kids, isn't it? Because this happened... This happened here. Oh, man. Wow. Alright, but more news. People getting fat. Time for women to stand up. Okay, so this is the labor leader, or she's one of the labor leaders in Swordland, and she's bloodish descent. Obviously, she's meant to be a metaphor for Margaret Thatcher, who, as we all know, was really big into the labor movement and human rights and such. She joined the labor union of Swordland. Okay, so anyway, she says we've been under pressure. It's a system of discrimination built up by old men who only knew about war. Time for Swordland to realize we have to. It's time for Swordland to realize we have to respect every individual, regardless of their sex, and strive to become an advanced civilization. Women have long been pushed to the corners of the social and political life. A new campaign, the Swordish League of Women. Okay, so what's this questioning education? We've been rated 39 out of 68 nations, assessed by OMEC. We don't have time for scientific fields, so we have gaps in the education. The soulless education, based on the principles of statism, nationalism, and republicanism, poisons the bright minds of our children. We need to get rid of the system from the poison that is... We need to rid the system from the poison, literal poison in that lunch case, that is ideological indoctrination, and let our future generations think for themselves. Prohibition in the country, is that a thing? I won't stand for it! Prohibition? You're gonna have to prohibit my dick from slapping them in the face. Let's see. President Rain can hold the provinces. Okay, geopolitical. Van Horten blames Vag's land for the missing fish vessel. The ship's unfortunate end was none other than the Vlagsland Navy. So it's just part of this Hedgel port here. There's some issues over which of these countries is supposed to be in charge of it. Anti-fernoids? What's a fernoid? Warren Harding was drinking during Prohibition. Indeed he was. Indeed he was. Barbecue with Frank. It was Saturday after... Wait, barbecue? Time to get some grill on, because we are centrists. It was a Saturday afternoon, my first break from work in what felt like years. And the weather couldn't have been more perfect. Trying to keep my mind off the upheaval sparked by the circus assassination, I lit the backyard grill. Man, I'm just trying to grill for God's sake. Monica and Dina were out shopping for craft supplies, and I had given the staff the day off. It was just myself and Frank at home. I wasn't sure how he felt about me at the moment, but I did know how he felt about barbecued ribs. Our cook had left some marinating in the refrigerator. Sure enough, as soon as Frank glimpsed the grill and the meat, he stepped outside to join me. Oh, Prohibition. I thought you meant Prohibition like the prohibition of alcohol. That's what I was saying. I won't stand for it! Let's see here. Come to spend some quality time with your old man, have you? Sure, if you could spare a few minutes out of your busy schedule. Let's see. I'm sorry, I know I haven't been around very often lately, but I'm happy to see you now. Don't we all still live in the same place? I don't know, but yeah, I guess, you know, probably I come home late and I gotta leave early, so I don't really see him. Let's see here. It's okay. I know you've got the most stressful job in the country. You've got to feed your family on top of it all. We both chuckled. I returned to tend to the fire. Here, let me try. He grabbed the fan and started quickly waving it over the coals. The fire roared to life. He turned to look at me with a grin on his face as if he was expecting praise. Don't act like you've done something special, Frank. Goddamn. I say, not bad, son, not bad. Thank you, sir. It's in our utmost interest to fulfill our duties with precision. The grilling shall commence in exactly 1 minute and 32 seconds. Oh, that was a spot-on impersonation of Lucien. We looked at each other for a second and then burst out laughing. I realized my throat was parched. There was a six-pack of beer in the kitchen. I said, charcoal, this is a propane house, so, you know, it's all about propane and accessories. Why don't you bring us a couple of beers? He looked at me in disbelief. You mean I can't? But Mom told me... Oh, shit, we're going against Mom. No, no. He stopped himself, quickly ran inside, and returned with 2 beers. We cracked them open, clinked the bottles, and gazed out at the city skyline. For a moment, my thoughts flashed back to my childhood and my relationship with my own father. Father, is he even old enough to drink? No, I don't think so, but, like, that's the point. You see, that's maybe it's, like, an American thing, but, you know, it's like a stereotype in American cultures, and, like, now here in El Paso it's different, but like, where it's like, you know, you have your first beer with your kid, you know, with your son before he's of age. It's like, just between you and us, kid, don't tell Mom. And it's supposed to be like this big bonding moment. Meanwhile, in El Paso, everybody's already, you know, overcome or succumbed to their alcoholism by the time they're 14, you know. So I'm trying to go for the Leave It to Beaver thing here or whatever. My father was a hard-working man and always had our best interests in mind, or at least that's what he always said. But he had a temper and would lash out at my mother in fights I could hear from my bedroom. By the time I was Frank's age, we seldom spoke. Now that I was the president, I was facing more stress than my father ever had. I'd have to work hard not to take my frustrations out on my family. Dad, can I ask you something? Wait for him to think about what to say. That's an interesting option. Let's try that. It's just... I feel like there's so much you've been hiding from me. About your past and about what's going on right now. What do you mean hiding? What am I hiding? Like at dinner, that night after the ball, you told me everything was under control, but it wasn't, was it? I know what happened in the 20s. We learned all about it in school. Now with the protests and the riots, is it going to be the same thing? Dad, is there going to be a civil war in Swordland? I will never let that happen. I could say that I hope not, because really, even a president, there's only so much I could do, but, you know, the kid's a minor. Yes, I know I'm giving him a beer, but, like, who gives a shit, right? Don't in Italy, they, like, practically put wine in the baby bottles, you know? But that's the whole thing, it seems to be, with, like, middle American families. Again, it's very different here in El Paso, but from what I've seen, from what I can get from the outside, it seems that, like, in most of America, it's this whole thing like, oh, you know, son, you're old enough to have a beer now. It's like, who gives a shit? It's a fucking beer. But, you know, it makes them feel like they're mature. So we give him the beer so he feels like he's mature, but now we're going to kind of say, you know, we're going to treat him like, you know, look, I'm going to take care of it. I'm not going to say, well, son, you know, what am I supposed to fucking tell him? Am I supposed to say, you know, son, it's not an easy question to answer, no kidding. It's like, well, son, on my first day in office, I got offered $500,000 Swordland dollary dues to give a contract. I was being bribed by somebody who owns the media outlets as well, and the Supreme Court Chief Justice, is a rambling old man who believes in conspiracy theories that have communists and capitalists and Rumburgians all working together. And by the way, the Bloodish are coming to kill us all, according to him. And so that's supposed to be the chief legal mind in the country. So that's how it's fucking going, son. Like, what am I supposed to tell him? Like, we're trying to calm him right now. But what was it like back then? Uncle Peter said the two of you went through a lot. I'm not a kid anymore. You can tell me, like, Dad, I've had a couple sips of a 4% beer. I'm not a kid anymore. Before I could gather my thoughts, the familiar images started flashing before my eyes. Images of soldiers advancing towards me and my friends, weapons drawn, of people I knew, friends and neighbors being dragged through streets and murdered in alleyways. The shock and grief on the faces of fathers, mothers, and orphaned children. I'm gonna say those were dark times. Don't tell your mother about the beer or the Bloods will kill you when you sleep, son. It seems like it. Do I want to talk about this with him? Oh, it's hard to be a family man while juggling all this other stuff. You know, let's see if we can talk to him about it, but like not give all the shit, but just kind of say, hey, you know, this is what it's like. You know, maybe we can like have a conversation in a way of like, yeah, it was really bad back then, but I'm not gonna let that happen because it was so bad back then. I'm gonna try to stop it. I don't know. We'll see. I want to see where this conversation goes. Frank leaned forward in his chair, his eyes wide. Tell Frank about the coup of 1927. I was barely older than you are now, studying history at the dear University of Culture. I was a freshman, excited and young. I had just left the classroom to go back home as I heard the sound of multiple vehicles approaching the campus gates. As they got closer, I realized there were military camouflage trucks and tanks carrying hundreds of soldiers. The same soldiers that were supposed to protect Swordland's citizens pointed their guns at us. They immediately took control of the facilities. One of my friends asked what was going on and was arrested immediately. More people got angry and gathered in protest. Frank kept listening, a shocked look on his face. Tell him that you ran for your life like a coward. Oh my gosh. Well, that is what happened, because didn't we... I forget, did we do voting or did we do random number generator for when we did our first run through? I don't even remember. I know we ran, but let's see, refrain from telling him about your quick escape. Son, I was at the fall of Beacon. Nice reference, Brady! Seeing the crowd gathering, I knew something was going to happen, something bad. I decided it was impossible to go against armed men and departed. I stopped there and turned my head away from Frank. Tell Frank about the Civil War. It was right after I met your mother. We both joined the student council to push for change after the coup of 27. But over the next year, the state of Swordland deteriorated. People started picking sides, and I tried to stay away as much as I could. Then, one night it happened. Two different factions of the army, one of them led by fascist General Luderin and the other by socialist General Rickard, started fighting against each other. It was a bloodbath. Nowhere was safe. Frank shifted in his seat, visibly uncomfortable. I stayed out of it. People organized protests either for or against Rickard. I heard about the clashes the next day. Many of my friends were shot or arrested. I isolated myself for months. That's enough for today. I think this conversation would have been much different if I had like joined, you know, like the Reds or the Youth, because then I probably would have been involved in violent things myself. Then like, I don't know, but I'm guessing I would have, and so that probably would have been a more difficult conversation. Like, son, I cracked a lot of fascist skulls. Sometimes I'd cut open their sternums and rip out their hearts after I was done with them, and I'd eat them. Not to gain their courage. Fascists have no courage. At least a lot of the ones that I tortured. They cried a lot. They didn't seem very courageous to me. Anyway, son, how about another beer? Here. Or the other way, it's like, but son, I never killed people because they were communists, and communists aren't people. Let's see. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked you about it. I know I don't understand how easy my life is sometimes. One more thing, though. I know that you managed to not take any sides. Do you mind if I ask why? Well, it was all about the grill, son. Just like this grill right here. One day you're gonna grill too. Anyway. Let's see. Two sides of the same coin. I do mind. I don't want to talk about it. Let's say, yeah, we're trying to do peace, right? We're trying to be, peaceful protests are okay. So we're going to say, I don't want to be part of the violence. Didn't want to be part of the violence. He raised his eyebrows, his curiosity still not satisfied, but sensing my reluctance to go on, he simply nodded. Sorry for bombarding me. Damn it, you're right, Saint Gaines. Two sides of the same coin. That would have been more, centrist. Because it's like, left, right, horseshoe theory, son. There's literally no difference between them. Now, you see, the key to sealing in the juices is you go hot and then you turn it down to cook slow and low for the rest. Let's see here. I know if I complain sometimes, my problems are nothing compared to what you went through. You're damn right, your generation will never understand. Let's see here. I'm here to listen to them, no matter what they are. Or no. Let's phrase it, what problems? Before Frank could say anything else, I heard the front door unlock. Dina and Monica's voices and the sound of rustling shopping bags filled the house. Alright, I'll be upstairs until dinner. Frank went and dashed upstairs. I took a long sip from my beer, looking at the city in the now setting sun. I hoped that talking to Frank about my past had been the right decision. Part of me felt as if some sort of burden had been lifted. But I had the same nightmares again that night. The what problems? Well, it depends on how the tone of what problems were. If it's like, what problems? Like, oh, damn, you're kind of right, though, Tenbray. So it could be interpreted as, like, what problems? Like, you don't have problems, but I thought it was what problems in the sense of, like, so my son is saying, my problems aren't as serious as yours, and so then I'm responding with, what problems? Like, you have a problem? Let's find what's going on. I didn't know that you had a problem. Let's try to fix it. But, yeah, that could have been interpreted either way. Okay, what's the news today? Attacker opened fire on protesters. The attacker killed himself after shooting at 25 people, killing 16. He took the weapon from the newsstand at the square, brandished it, and yelled, "Come, I will give you freedom," one witness said. The highly charged word freedom was previously associated with bloodish separatists, but has been used widely during the previous month of protests against the murder of Bernard Circus. Okay, so some dude just gunned down a bunch of commies who were marching. Well, he's dead now, but still, I guess it's showing that things are getting a little crazy. Geez, it reminds me of, so I was somebody who followed the Syrian civil war quite a lot. I actually had an alert so that any news story anywhere in the world about Syria would be sent to my email. Which was really interesting because I would also get stuff from foreign papers as well. So I got a lot of different points of view. But there were certain stories that always stuck out to me, and there was this one where a guy, his son was murdered by the Islamic State. So he just got his hands on an AK and went out to some checkpoint and just sprayed and killed like 14 of them at that checkpoint or something, and then of course they killed him. But I was just like, damn, so that dude just really was, like, I can't imagine what he was feeling, to have your son killed. So yeah, I guess this dude also was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go spray into a crowd full of commies and then kill myself. Like, what the hell? Anyway, that got serious for a second. Let's see, the Lochivin Times. Oh, the Lochivin Times are the Scotch, you know, there's the Scotch whiskey that we have here. So we're going to pour ourselves some other ones. This is definitely a good blend of a Scotch Irish, and my accent's all over the place, and something about the foggy dew. And you know who's a great representative of Scotland? We're talking about the one, the only. We're talking about Shrek, because he taught us that, hey now, let it all start at the day don't play. Let's see, you're typically against the older generation, pretending their old problems supersede any of the new generation's problems. Oh yeah, well that's definitely what option 3 was in that conversation with the son. It's like, you don't have problems. You know, I had to walk to school in the snow uphill both ways, and you kids and your vinyls and listening to the let's see, what would be this universe's Beatles? Although I guess they wouldn't have been around yet. We're still in the 50s. But let's pretend they're around, but it's like, because it's, you know, it's an alternate world. Instead of the Beatles, they're like the, I don't know, the Spiders or something. Okay, so. Anticipated match was postponed because of protests in Ankrika. This is a tragic day in Swordland where the president himself refused to act in the face of communism. It is said that inaction breeds doubt and fear. Thus, I fear that the spread of communism is sown deeper inside the heart of the nation than we thought. However, I and the people of Ankrika will never stop fighting for the soul of our country. So yeah, remember, this is the this is one of the like the owned papers, I think. Yeah. Oh man, we couldn't play football. The commies are winning. All right, radical voice. Swordland has an electoral threshold of 10%. This means any political party that is under 10% of the vote can't even enter the assembly. This is the very reason why the United Swordland Party holds 52% of the seats in the assembly today. It is also the reason why the largest ethnic minority of Swordland continues. That's probably supposed to be continues to be non-existent in Swordish policies. So yeah, we already kind of know this. So basically, the Bloodish Party and the Communist Party, because they didn't hit 10%, they're not in the assembly. Undemocratic threshold needs to be lowered. No one can call democracy call Swordland a democracy without a decrease. All right. Well, we hit the save. So you know what? We're gonna go ahead and call it there. I'm really gonna try my best to make this daily in the future. Oh, how long has this been here? Yeah. So that's it for today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna do some Swordland, and I think we're gonna. What was I doing during the day tomorrow? I might also do a daytime stream where I think we're gonna do some Mao's Legacy, where I think we're getting pretty close to the end, which is nice. Anyways, take care, everybody, and you have yourselves a pleasant evening. Oh yeah, drop a like on your way out, if you don't mind.